You're live. Wait, does it wait till this?
Yeah, you're live.
Okay, hey everybody. It's Angela and King, and we're doing Hump Day Harmonious Happy Hour every Wednesday with Angelina, Kundalina, and
Kingsley on Kundalina.
And Scrappy Tippy Tappy. Can you say hi? Say hello.
Girl.
He's already warmed up.
Good boy. Good
Usually
boy.
he is not that revved up to say hello. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much for your input, baby boy. Now, no matter what we say, whether it pisses you off or you love it, just remember the scrappy tippy tappy and everybody be civil.
Yep.
Okay, guys, so you're wondering what the hell are these weirdos doing on live tonight? So this is what we're doing. Every Wednesday, I want to do Harmonious Happy Hour, Hump Day, Harmonious Happy Hour, where either myself or both of us talk about topics related to Kundalini awakening or spiritual awakening in general, because we're all on this human journey together, and I really don't care what label you give your growth or anything in accordance with that. We are all here in human form and learning lessons together. So, and then what we're gonna do also is do we see? Hi, Don. Glad you're here, lovey.
Hi, Don.
I love Don so much. Caregiver, so amazing that she would be called that for my brothers and then be such a part of my life. I think Angel is more accurate. Soul sister Angel. But anyway, so glad you're here, darling. So what we're also going to be, so mostly this will be around Kundalini awakening and my journey with that and what I've accumulated through the experience of having a full-blown Kundalini transformation as of 2016. I had a full Kundalini pop-off. I was in two years pre-awakening for that, where the hormones were priming, the sexual heating was occurring. I didn't know what it was. I found out within about a week through contacting a awesome person named Betsy Raber, who has also written a book, Our Light Body. You can find that at ourlightbody.com if you think you're having any sort of phenomena having to do with Kundalini awakening. In any case, it was better in my journey that I didn't know what it was for several reasons, which I'll get into in other videos down the road. I have a lot to share. So you might be wondering why I'm just now talking so much and using the throat chakra energy when it happened in 2016. That was a conscious decision. In my opinion, going through the dark night of the soul and the clearing phase of Kundalini awakening, if you're talking a lot, it's the equivalent of like giving advice while you're in the middle of a goddamn ocean storm in a boat. Eckhart Tolle had said something like, if you've had a spiritual awakening, of course, like reach out, speak, write a book, talk to people, but not too soon, because you really don't want to impose or project what you think is going to happen, because if any form of awakening is what you think it was going to be, no, probably not a true awakening. So I feel that I went through a dark night of the soul. I actually went through a intense stage of kind of coming to facing my mortal existence here. And then after that, through about 2 years of dark night of the soul off and on with energy upgrades.
We get off track. But yeah,
this is for Kundalini, so I'm introducing what it will be.
Okay.
But today is going to be something a little different and a little special, and probably a little more relatable to most people, because Kundalini awakening is probably not. I mean, it is relating to a lot of things, but people don't realize it. But in any case, today what we are talking about. Oh, you interrupted me. Anyways, the point is I will be talking more about my journey. So today what we're going to be talking about is transgender women in female sports. And you're wondering, what the hell has that got to do with what you claim your channel is going to be about? Well, I assure you, I will get to that point, and we will talk about how this issue does relate to spiritual awakening and Kundalini awakening. But it doesn't really matter if you give it those terms or those labels or not. But it's just a blueprint or a certain design that we can put onto it to help understand with our conceptual mind what we already know from our like spirit selves. So anyways, we're going to first give some information about transgender females in female sports and what it's looking like today for those of you who aren't up on it. So should we start with that? Should we start with some of the videos?
Yeah, we can actually mention some names.
Yeah, okay.
Like
why don't you
people
introduce the names of the people that we're going to talk about with our videos today?
Today we're going to talk about people like Hannah Mounsey, and we're going to talk about Hannah, however she says her name.
Let's do one without his accent. Hannah Mounsey.
And we're going to talk about Rachel.
And she's the football.
Yeah, that's what the football for
Australian
Football League. Yeah.
Okay.
So AFL. So then we're going to talk about Rachel. Rachel was the last name again?
Oh, the one in the cyclist, right? Rachel McKinnon, which is, if you follow this at all, you already know. She's a world champion cyclist from Canada.
Exactly. And then we're going to talk about the ABC News, which was what's it called, the racing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so these were two transgender male to female in Connecticut high school sports, Terry Miller and Andrea Yearwood, who actually, for some strange reason, I couldn't think of, possibly put my mind together to think of what it is, are just dominating track and fields in female sports.
I know, because they are so gifted.
Yeah, and I think because they were special and brave. Don't forget that they're brave.
Yeah.
And also strong. And they worked hard for it their whole lives.
Yeah.
Very talented,
dedicated, pretty strong, like very strong bones and some balls and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, bones and balls. But
okay, we're gonna try to keep it civil.
Yeah, sure.
We might slip. And you know what, guys? You might impose on this that a Kundalini awakening person should be out of their ego and shouldn't have feel things along these two. Hi, Don. Love you too, darling. Mwah. You might think that I shouldn't be in my feelings about this, but I absolutely am going to be in my feelings about this. I will try to remain civil. I can tell you guys right off, this is an issue that I have had the hardest time not getting into my ego and just completely reacting without thinking, like being very reactionary. So I want you to know that it is in me and I'm doing the best I can to present this in a way that's human, but at the same time is really getting the common sense aspect out of it. So yeah, try not to do a lot of projection about how a person who's out of their ego, etc., couldn't be acting like this or having these sort of feelings. Okay, so we're not going there tonight. Tonight, we are all up in our feelings. We're very much in the physical realm. All right, babes. So should we show the first videos?
Yeah.
So we're going to do this a little funky. We had to figure out how to do it live. And I'm going to put in the description box, I am going to list all these videos if you want to get more into them. But what we're going to do is take the computer and put it up against TV and just introduce you quickly to these girls. So you can kind of get a handle on what transgender women in female sports are at right now. And then we can talk about it. So it's just going to be about a minute or two each, not even maybe introducing them and then talking about the topics. Okay, so the remote is right here. Can you start facing it this way, hon?
Sure.
Sorry, I'm trying to like soothe myself so that I don't get too up in my feelings about this. Hon, yeah, I'll try to get out of the way of this, guys, but yeah, let's hit it. Uh-oh, did we lose it, babe?
You lost it for a minute. It's all good.
Okay, guys, just give a listen for a couple seconds.
A part of your life that you
is it mirrored?
No, because the thing is, and a lot of trans people don't like talking about themselves before even any reference to it, but the thing is, I did a lot of really cool things as Callum. I was a really good person.
Caleb, I think.
Away from the game, Callum was struggling with his identity. 2 years ago, he was diagnosed with gender dysphoria, a condition where a person's gender is different to the body they were born in. And that was tough because you're sort of going, I'm 80, 90, 95% sure.
Respect, man.
Until you
Those are her breasts.
The block it.
Yeah.
And she is flexing them.
See how comfortable you feel.
So is that what you did?
Yeah, it was literally like 5 minutes outside.
We're trying to keep the commentary to a minimum.
It's a difficult thing because the first time you do it, you go, geez, I look stupid. And I feel like an idiot. But, you just sort of have to do it.
Look at those
Were you more
jaws, man.
attracted to
They look so
females or
feminine,
males?
don't they?
I think
girls, for
this
sure.
is not where I was going to go with this. We already went too
that's something
far.
people don't really
Like
understand.
on this, Joanne.
Is gender identity and sexuality, they're completely different.
So this was 341. Now let's go to 824 and
To
956.
start hormone replacement therapy.
Okay, so you guys got a little introduced. Let's go to a little more that I had kind of picked out here for us. 824. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much any set shot I take is my grado.
I reckon you might be alright.
Yeah, ask the girls I play.
It seems to be working.
Oh, that's too easy.
And today, she's giving me a few pointers.
Instead of looking at throwing up, you just sort of drop it on your boot.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so that's her on the field for a second, and now 956, which I think is more what I wanted to drive. All right, guys, thanks for hanging in.
That you do have a size advantage over some of your opponents.
I think the biggest issue is not necessarily that I'm too big or too strong now. It's more, okay, you're already big, you're already strong, whatever. But what if you were to get into that elite training environment and they would build you up, put on an extra 15 kilos and you just push everyone aside? But physiologically, that's just not going to happen.
The people who seem to have the biggest problem with this is male administrators, but the female competitors haven't raised
I have
their
a big
voices
problem.
Lisa Watson knows better than most what Hannah's going through. She's a doctor who specializes
Okay,
in transgender
I think
health
we're
issues
actually,
and
we've
is
come
also-
far enough with this. So let's sit down here and get back to the point, guys. Hannah Mouncey, in case you're wondering about the stats, is 6'2", and she's 100 kilos, which is 220 pounds. And she thinks that we don't have an issue with it right now. We're projecting into the future about when and how we might have an issue with transgender being in sports. And that's just not the case, guys. No belief system that I ever want to have. I actually don't want to have a belief system, but this is the fallacy of belief systems, is that if you commit to it, it appears you have to go really far, don't you? Because if you say, well, I'm liberal or I'm Democratic or Republican, then we go, okay, I'm a feminist. When I say that, I mean I am up for equal rights for females regarding what they can give equal performance for. Okay, can you say that again with me? I'm up for equal rights for female in regards to what they can give equal performance for. Women should not be in a lower pay bracket for anything that they can deliver a performance as good as a man, right? And there have been no studies and no commonsensical reasoning that says that a man is able to be an astronaut or a scientist or more than a woman can, okay? Women have been able to keep up in those fields, all that have to do with brain, whether it be left brain or right brain performance, as much as men. Let me tell you where women have never and will never, according to the laws of nature, ever beat men. Do you want to say it?
Any physical activity.
All things physical.
Anything physical.
If we are talking about endurance, strength, height, weight, power, resistance, the only thing actually I forgot, because those of you who don't know my past, I grew up in sports, and this is why this is really personal to me, because sports changed my life. I didn't have a lot to go on when I was a kid. I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. We weren't allowed in sports. When my parents got divorced, there was kind of this thing where my dad didn't go along blindly just with the religion anymore. He said, and you know what? Let her be in sports, for gosh sakes, you know? So at a time in my life where I was really down and out, I had no friends because the people in the religion, the two that there were, had rejected me. And there was just nothing to go on anymore. And actually, I was feeling like dipping out of this life, to put it blatantly. Maybe one or two of the two hardest times that I've ever experienced in my life. And when I was able to enter sports, I was able to learn so much, push myself, have an identity. And you may be saying, Angela, for somebody in a spiritual awakening, why do you think it's important that you are able to have an identity in something? Let me tell you why. Not only did it come with sportsmanship and female, like, which has been a precedent my whole life, like female bonding and female warriorship, which is held close to me every waking hour of my life and in my dreams. I love that bond and that camaraderie, not just with women, but anything being a whole team. And I love thinking of humanity as an entire team. So anyways, in order for us to move through our ego identity, you have to have a healthy one first. Okay? So in order to figure out the limitations of any specific thing in life, you need to have experience and you need to have gone through it. And I think Jim Carrey said it the best. He said, I'm glad that I got rich and famous. You know why? To figure out that it's not what makes me happy and whole. And if I had not gone through that paradigm to realize the weakness of it and then gone inward to look for my joy and happiness, as anybody who's been through a spiritual awakening says, you still have to follow the natural design of humanity. We are a social group. And so no matter how strong you are spiritually, isolation is bad for humans. No routine whatsoever is bad for humans. Not eating right, not sleeping right, all these things that are just part of being in the physical 3D realm need to be honored before we can transcend. So this is why it was important for so many reasons for me. And to have this taken away from females. So what we were getting back to, the reason I interrupted myself is the only thing I fought hard because I was really in my identity. I took everything from it. I thought I was raw and strong and powerful. And when my feelings got hurt, I absolutely leaned on my strength to cover my vulnerability of like, why don't any of the boys like me? All this other stuff. When I got my feelings hurt and boys didn't like me because I was busy showing off and I wasn't connecting with them and all kinds of other stuff. So, but I dealt with it through sports and getting stronger and really getting into my ego for that. And so I went on from high school sports and pole vaulting and gymnastics to fitness competitor, in which you really have to push your dieting and everything, get it on point, realize that it was not my gig to have to diet like that and not use my creative centers for all that time while I was dieting. I was like a zombie. Like I was so tired and depleted that if somebody made a joke, I would be like, like 10 minutes later. So it just wasn't cool. But anyways, the only place that I was able to match men physically was body weight to ratio things. So if I worked my freaking big booty off, I was able to match them or possibly exceed them in pull-ups, push-ups, dips, one-handed push-ups, stuff like that. Body weight ratio stuff. Okay, so that I believe is the only area where females biologically are really able to match or exceed men.
And it's the best females. No, we're not talking about females who are average females.
Not the average.
Because if you get an average female to an average man, there is no competition at all. You're looking at women who are like above 90, like the top level, the top 90 elites. Then you can compare them with average men. So
absolutely. I knew and honored. There was never part of me, no matter how much I wanted to be out of my vulnerabilities and how much I wanted to be big macho. They used to call me Ange Man. No matter how much I wanted to use that to put my ego, I knew that no matter how hard I trained, I was weaker than the average man. Guys used to come up to me and see my biceps and be like, hey, let's arm wrestle. I never won them in arm wrestling, ever. Like, the best I could do was have a pull-up or a dip competition. That was it. And I knew, it was always in my mind, that no matter how much attention I got for looking strong and lean and making that my life, I was less than average for a guy. You put me under a bench press, I am going to be in the less than average. I'm going to be the lowest of the men. It did not matter how hard I work. I'm sorry, my pecs are not like Hannah's over here. It's just never going to happen. And so anytime you have a belief system that asks you to pull away your actual common sense, stop in the name of sanity. You've gone too far.
And not to mention, did you see one of the clips? He was doing deadlifts, and he had like about 315 pounds.
My triceps right now.
I
can't even now show your biceps. Your biceps, honey. How am I ever? There's nothing I'm ever going to be able to do to look like Kingsley. Come on now, stop it. And women, this is another part of sacred femininity that we need to understand. And not be so divisive against men, or we are going to suffer for it. You know how we're suffering for it right now? We're literally having transgender, male to female, eradicate women's sports. And I'm not exaggerating. Okay, the thing that we need to know regarding sacred femininity is that we have to trust men. We have got to trust men to be in a partnership with them. And if you think you don't trust men, think again. Because every time I'm physical with Kingsley, whether it be playing or making love, I have to trust him to gauge his physicality down to mine. Do you know how much trust we have to put in men in every day to live in a society where we're as free as we are? Can we just acknowledge that and appreciate it and stop acting like men are the enemies? Because they're not. We have to be able to embrace our sacred femininity to understand that we can be equal, but we're never the same. And that's beautiful. Men physically, we can say point blank, they have a talent, an ability, and a skill that we do not have, and that is strength. As much as them. We still have strength and we can work it, and that's why women and men's sports need to remain separate. Because we deserve, every field deserves to be able to push their hardest and be with their crew.
Yeah, you just made a point now. Men and women's sports have to remain separate. From the time go, it's always been like that. Even it used to be only men's sports, and then they introduced women into the sports.
And we got 2 or 3 good decades. 1970s, we're at 20s. We got 5 decades, girls, and we seem to have found a way for men to take over women's sports again. And this is not me being anti-man.
Yeah,
this is me being angry at a group. Not an entire group, because that's what I don't. Sorry, baby.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that I'm mad at an entire group, and I'm going to clarify that because there are a lot of transgender, female to female, and it doesn't matter male to female or not. There are a lot of transgender people speaking out against this. Blair White, Rose of Dawn. I wrote some other people down. Joanna Harper, who's a medical physicist and a trans person. She's doing studies on how we can attempt to make it fair in the future, but she has not rejected the reality. We need to start from not rejecting the reality that men are biologically stronger than women. So anyways, I do want to say, and I'm so sorry I interrupted you, honey, I'm going to let you talk, but I do want to say, so that it doesn't not get said, that I'm not against an entire group. What I am going to say is that group who feminists and liberals stood up for their rights needs to step up just the way women, even though I'm not part of the LGBT community, I don't fit into any of those, I fought for their rights. I'm not a Christian. I will fight for Christians' rights, because the minute we start being okay with, in any way, shape, or form, oppressing one group, really, we're sabotaged, all of us. Nobody will be the winner if you let history unravel enough. So I just want to say, so that it doesn't get unsaid, that I'm not against this whole group. Right now, more than ever, we need the pinnacles, the activists, to come out and say this is wrong. I'm so sorry, honey.
It's okay. It's okay.
Did I totally blow through you?
Yeah.
Do you still even know?
I almost forgot what I was about to say, but okay. But I was talking about men and female sports throughout the history of sports. It's always been men and female sports separately, and it's not it's not about segregation or discrimination, because nobody's discriminating against women when they separate women from men. It's just about strength. Okay, now we have a situation where men who are transgendering into female sports are expected to be treated as female, even though that the strength level is never going to be the same.
Never.
If you have gone through poverty, you are not ever going to be the same as a natural born female. I don't care how much what they call it, testosterone level you have,
Yep,
you're still not
estrogen.
gonna be the same as a female. No matter how hard Angela trains, she's never gonna beat me on anything that has to do with strength. It's even if she gets to the gym, because I've been in the gym for I've been a personal trainer for
over a decade.
Over a decade, and I've worked with both men and females. I know the strength level.
Guys,
there's
credibility here. This isn't about hating any group.
It's not about hating any
group.
We
fought for your rights. When anybody that voted Democrat fought for rights of all groups.
They fought for rights of all groups. So at this point in time, we're just saying, I wouldn't consider myself to be a feminist. I'm a realistic.
Me too.
I'm
a realist.
I'm a realist. I just want to see the right thing happen.
The right thing. Thank you.
Just the right thing. I'm not discriminating against anybody. I just want to see the right thing happen. So if we can all step up and do the right thing, that would be good for everyone.
Which is not what's happening right now. And these video clips are going to show you, at least, for sure the final one is actually going to demonstrate to you that the right thing currently is not happening, because females, high school and beyond, are literally having their records, their medals, and their scholarships and opportunities. And don't you dare try to tell me a medal is nothing. You'll hear that in the future. I'm like arguing it before it even happens. Before you leave, can you help me make sure this gets set up before you go? So anyways, let's go on to the next clip, and then we can discuss this a little further. Okay, so this was the one. This is Rachel McKinnon. I'm gonna go 155. I'm going to start at 155. There we go, guys.
A fiercely outspoken transgender activist and academic.
That's her, guys.
She's become a central part of the roiling debate around rules, rights, and biology in elite sport.
Okay. I thought you were going to
include trans women in competition.
The idea that we need to protect women's or female sport from other women and femels is itself inherently discriminatory.
Look at you.
Okay. They should respect and legally recognize sexism.
Seriously.
We're all supposed to get rid of our reasoning because you changed legally?
Because you're 1 year into what?
I'm sorry.
Therapy at all. That's a stark contrast to the type of guidelines many sporting federations.
Did you guys hear that, or were me and Kingsley just way too out of control?
Before, if a transgender athlete wanted to compete in the Olympics, they had to have sex reassignment surgery, but those rules changed in 2016. They now focus on testosterone levels. There are no restrictions if someone transitions to a man, but if they transition to a woman, they need to take hormone therapy for at least a year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wait, did you guys hear that? There's no restrictions if a female transforms to a male.
No, because why?
Why?
Because they are at disadvantage. They don't even say, if you transfer, start taking testosterone, right? There's not like that. There's no your testosterone level got to be at this point.
I wonder why. Are people not concerned about fairness? Are people not concerned that a female is going to go into male sports and eradicate their records? And what was your little thing that you came up with?
Well, the little thing is this. In female sports, if there is a prick, there is a problem.
In female sports. Okay, guys, we're being a little immature, and I am going to acknowledge that. But I have to laugh, otherwise I'm going to for this individual. I'm not going to screw with the pronouns. For this male to female transgender to say that we are innately discriminating because we do not use our logic and reasoning to deduce that she indeed has an advantage over biological females? No, I never signed off on that contract when I said feminist. I never signed on a contract that said I'm going to stand by and let biological men take away biological females' opportunities.
And then,
you can identify however you want. I don't care if you split leap up and down the street in your bikini. I'll call you a her all day long if that's what you want. Have it. Have her. Have woman, have anything you want, but don't take biological XX and XY. you don't fit.
Let's go back
when it comes to sports.
1 second.
And I got a big problem.
Let's go back to
Yeah,
Hannah, or Hannah, however she
Hannah
says.
Mounty, the Australian.
Yeah, the Australian. I don't know if you guys saw him do deadlifting.
Her.
Oh,
don't misgender.
You guys saw.
We're not going to misgender, even though this is the most I've ever been
do deadlifting.
Tempted.
But he did the deadlifting when he was still a he, so it's okay if I call it a he.
That's fine.
So
you're right, babe.
He was doing deadlifting as a man, okay, and he could pick up 315 easy. Do you know how many women who can pick up 315?
I know for a fact I never could, no matter what I did. I could never.
315 pounds. Was
well, maybe if I juiced up big time, but I'd have to change my alchemy. Like I'd have to change my whole biological setup, guys. I'd have to grow stuff that I don't have.
Take time, a lot of
years
time.
and decades.
And then this man,
I'd have to completely reject
he was a
my
man
natural sense.
deadlifting 315 pounds, and then he transitions to a female and says, "Oh, I'm not an advantage."
Yeah, this is what I don't like, guys. When we fought, and will continue to fight for LGBT rights, we never signed off to
take away your rights.
Take away your rights. That's right. There you go. Look, the homosexual, gay, lesbian, bisexuals never attempted to take away females' sports or rights. I will fight for them. Now we have a small group of ignorant, and I will use that phrase because when we go on to the Connecticut guys, when we get to Terry Miller and Andrea Yearwood, this is ignorant at its finest. A small group of ignorant male to female transgenders are absolutely taking over female sports, and within 10 to 15 years, they will have every female record in existence if we keep up at this pace. And right now, guys, if you think I'm making a big deal out of it, there are already in so many sports, including weightlifting and powerlifting, transgender male to female that have taken women's records. Even if in the future we come to some sort of fair consensus, are we then going to take those records away from the transgender individuals? It's going to get weird, guys. It needs to stop because they're already taking opportunities right now and from records. Okay, and we can't undo that. Yeah, we can say, well, a couple years there, high school females lost their opportunities. The cyclists that are going up against Rachel McKinnon, they lost their right. They lost the right to compete fairly, etc. But that can kind of be undone and lived past. But with the records, what are we going to do, guys? It needs to stop now. And I'm telling you, if it goes at this rate, there will not be one biological female holding a record in any sport.
Truth. And again, it's something I wanted to point out when we're talking. Because we're going to go back to the ABC, the transgender female that took over the Terry McMahon and the other fellow, Andrea.
Yep.
What I'm trying to bring up is, Angela, you in high school, you ran with a track team. You were in the track team and you did really good. You were like,
it was awesome. We had such a good time.
She has records. She's on
it felt so good to push ourselves in a fair game.
She's in the newspaper and all that stuff. But I'm just truth be told.
He's giving me clout.
In high school, I tried.
My glory days.
I tried out for to run tracks and stuff.
Did you?
Yeah, I tried it. And
I thought your mom wouldn't let you.
No. I tried. I was horrible. Like
at track.
Yeah, when I started, like it was like magic. Like
I think he's telling stories.
No, seriously. I'm trying to make a point.
Okay.
When we started running, let me just tell you my experience. When I started running with the guys, like the real guys,
big balls.
With the big balls, I felt like I was going backwards, but I was running. I felt like I was going backwards.
Let me ask you this. If somebody gave you the right and said, if you do ABC and go on your thing, you can go and whoop the females.
But
would you feel good about it?
I wouldn't feel good
Would you expect the world to celebrate you?
They shouldn't
call you brave and beautiful?
Brave or whatever. But I'm still coming to my point. I felt like I was going backwards. I was like on a reverse, and everybody was like, I was thinking I was going backwards. I was looking at everybody going, I was going backwards.
By the way, that's what happens every time he has an argument with me.
But the funny thing is this.
Feels like it's going.
I ran with Angela, who happens to be the best in the school, okay?
I wasn't anymore. We were one of the best.
But yeah, one of the best. We do have state records. But at least I was going backwards, so. But then when I tried out with you, I beat you hands down.
You whooped my ass.
Like
no training whatsoever.
There was no competition.
And then you got into the police force with no training.
With no training.
He hardly trained to get into to go through the male thing.
Yeah.
And that male thing is the same for women. And guess what, guys? This is what I'm saying. I believe in equal rights when women can perform. Did I interrupt you, baby?
Yeah, but
okay, go ahead.
Good. Yeah, but my point is that at the end of all this stuff, me being horrible, running.
He's not now, I don't think.
No, I'm not now.
Maybe I just need to believe he's not because he still whoops my ass.
Then, but without training on anything, and she went through a lot of training, okay?
Back in the day, yeah.
Back in the day. But I mean, it's like when I ran with you, probably like
now if I run, I'm
6 years, maybe 4 or 5 years after your good days, I guess.
Now my butt is literally so jiggly when I run. But the point I'm trying to make, itches. I need like a booty bra.
The point I'm trying to make is that I still whoop her ass. So imagine a person like me. I want to
no training.
And
the men were spanking you.
And the men were spanking my ass, and I go whoop her ass. And then I decide to transgender. What a glorious thing, right? Does that even make sense? Start taking down my testosterone level. I will still be good in that.
Guys, I'm telling you.
Because I'm at an advantage.
When I looked at these things that I'm going through right now, and I looked on YouTube, you go to YouTube, it can be pretty toxic and it can be pretty divisive, right? And I kind of get a pulse on things by reading like what the common opinion is. Usually when you go on YouTube, you kind of have people falling this way and people falling this way, and you have a pretty diverse array of people doing things, you know. And I kind of like pulse into like where is most people's reasoning at this time, whether it's like a drama video where people are taking sides. I say, I'm reading just a common person's opinion and where is it? And some of them are really insightful and some are like, if you go to hell, you know. And I'm telling you guys, when I've gone through these videos, there's maybe one in literally 200 comments where somebody thinks this is okay. Never have I seen a YouTube comment be so unified, but with different language. So you'll have some that are obviously going to use as an excuse to be a bigot, guys. And I'm not going to say that there are not those people who will do it. I'm not going to say that there were already people against the trans community because they are bigoted and then they found they're out and this is it. That does exist. I will acknowledge that for anybody who has a say on this that may feel differently than me, okay? I will acknowledge that. But it went everywhere from very insightful comments about, okay, let's talk about what we said we were going to go through some facts, Kingsley. Let's talk about factually the advantages that men actually have that women don't, including bigger, no, just kidding. Okay, guys, the list of things men have. Bigger bone density, greater bone density, higher lung capacity, bigger heart, more red blood cells.
Definitely.
More testosterone, more strength, more weight, usually.
More muscle mass.
More lean muscle mass.
Muscle mass, yeah.
Okay, so guys, a lot of these I was watching and people interviewed some of the transgender females and they said, do you think you should be in women's sport? And they say yes. And then they said, why? And at least 2 of them said, why not? That was their answer. And we have right now, just off the top of our head, we just listed 6 or 7 reasons why not. Okay, so let's get on to the next part of what I want to show you, and then we'll get to the last one. And eventually, guys, I know this is getting long. I will talk about how this relates to spirituality.
Maybe another day.
You getting tired, baby?
No, it's like almost 40 minutes of a video.
I know. Yeah. I knew it was going to be long, guys. But I've pent up for like 2 years. I've had stuff to say.
You can do a part 2.
Look at it. He's already trying to. Like, honestly, I've had stuff to say for 2 years, and I've kept it pent up because I want to make sure that it's matured in my awakening and what I'm standing for, because I don't want to fall for when people are going to come at me or when people are going to side with me. Either way, you have to be ready. Okay, so let me get to 343 on this and hear a little bit more. Well, we'll just have to start it here, guys. This woman coming up is actually saying that she's scared to acknowledge that in this community, you have to be scared to acknowledge that men and women are different. And she's fighting for biological females' rights.
Because if a person has gone through puberty with the full sort of testosterone levels that make them taller and their lungs bigger and their muscles bigger and their frame size larger, they have just incredible advantage. It doesn't matter that you take down their testosterone for 1 year.
She says competitive sports already separate people based on their body type. For instance, she says flyweight boxers don't compete against heavyweights. In the U.S., trans athletes have sparked a lot of debate. In Connecticut, some parents started a petition demanding a rule change after two trans athletes started winning girls' high school sprint races. Online, the conversation has turned particularly toxic, with insults thrown from all sides. Blade says many are afraid to speak up and share their opinions.
Everybody's made to feel like a bigot if they say something wrong, and then the mob comes after you, the social media mob. I feel like we need to really have this conversation in a safe way where we're all able to say what we really want to say without just assuming that we all hate the other side.
Yeah.
Lift.
She questions why there's such a rush to introduce a transgender policy, saying the ramifications haven't been properly studied.
That's right, they haven't.
But there is.
Okay, I think that's about enough for that one. So, point being, guys, she's saying, and I think this is unfair from all sides. I know that before, people who stood for LGBTQ rights in the 1990s, it was popular to say, oh, are you siding with those homos, those AFGs? It was very popular. And the pendulum swung so quick. And then, obviously, the more Republican side, I think that's a big reason why Trump eventually got elected. I don't think that a lot of people are actually bigoted by any means, but I do think that people felt bullied into not having their belief systems anymore. So one of the biggest things that I bring out in my spiritual talks is not to free yourself from oppression, to turn around and become the oppressor. And so both me and Kingsley have had to use this as a learning platform to not be reactionary, because man, the things that we wanted to say when we see these videos, like you saw us just when we've watched this before and we're hyping on it, like the things that we want to say, but we have to pull back and say, we do not want to turn around and become the oppressor and make an already minority group feel even more unwelcome. And yet there has been a consequence to this next generation coming in that we're going to see with these Connecticut individuals that I'm going to kind of bring home regarding my opinion, is that we brought these people in without having to fight for their rights, and this small group didn't have to fight they didn't live in the 90s where people were bigoted and it was acceptable. And I heard fathers and families say, if my son ever came home with a earring in his ear, that QUEERS, I would tell him to get the F out of my house. It was a popular thing to say, guys, then. I'm sorry, that was the norm. And like things switched so quickly, and my God, it should have never been like that. It was wrong. And if I turn around and make people even angrier or incite even more anger, instead of saying, okay, how can we use this as a platform to learn more, not be as reactionary? When you have your dirty energy, your full emotional thing, that's what like Kundalini, Kriyas, and awakening is. Like you just get out that top layer of like, you get that energy out, so then you can have a more clear mind to what do you know of Kundalini? I think you missed the barefoot sun gazer. You probably missed the beginning. You can look through my channel. I had a full-blown Kundalini awakening in the pop-off in 2016, and have been in transformation since then, and 2 years of pre-awakening stuff before then. So barefoot sun gazer, if you want to talk at all after watching the videos or any of my other videos, or ask questions in this or whatever, when I get done with this, we can go over that. So if you want to talk about your experience or whatever. So anyways, and we have to do this fast because I am going to tie this into awakening and how us being a heart chakra society here in the the developed nations were about to see the limitations of residing in an unbalanced way in the sensitivity, empathizing heart chakra center. So I am going to bring it around. So let's get to the final movie, unless you had anything else to say. The final video. Okay, so. So transgender track stars is our next one.
So we're going to talking about the transgender track stars in Connecticut.
Connecticut, yep.
Yeah.
Clear it.
Then we're going to round it up for the night, so that
because this is long,
getting too long.
And quite frankly, I could go on forever.
I know you can, but we don't want to
go all night long. Okay, so here's the one. No, this is 5 minutes and 2 seconds. Where's the longer one?
Okay, while she's bringing that up, if anybody have any questions, you can go ahead and blow my head off.
That doesn't sound right. Maybe this is only 5 minutes. I thought I had speak out as cricket. Okay, I think that's the one, guys. Okay. So, is it too loud?
Tonight we explore the topic of transgender athletes in high school sports. It's a difficult balance between the rights of transgender individuals to compete and the rights of others to compete on an equal playing field. Here's correspondent Jackie Heinrich.
Okay, 2:49, guys. I'm sorry if you want to see this. I will put it in the description box.
Toe-to-toe this weekend at the New England Regional Championships in Boston.
But we're going to get to the actual transgender athletes discussing their take.
College students and Olympians must undergo a year of hormone therapy to compete as trans athletes. But most teens don't begin hormone therapy until after puberty. Civil rights are also a concern. Hudson Taylor is the founder of Athlete Ally, a nonprofit LGBTQ athletic advocacy group.
Any pathway that separates or divides or segregates trans athletes into a different category.
2:49. Oh, yep, I didn't go far enough, guys. Oh.
There's no 2:49.
Okay, so it is the wrong video.
Yep, you got it.
Sorry, guys. Give me a second. There's a what?
5:02.
Yeah, but you said it didn't. There was no 2:49 on it.
No, is that a 2:49?
Now, to a GMA exclusive, 2 transgender high school runners.
Then go to 2:49.
Okay. Thanks for hanging in, guys. Yep, there we go. Okay, guys. There we go. Now we'll hear from them.
Drea's parents say what's most important to them is the well-being of their child.
Track is number 100 on my list of concerns as a father of a transgender daughter.
Really? Pull him out.
Raising a child for a life. And so is it fair that that child is excluded?
He's not making a point.
Is it fair that child doesn't feel like they have a place to belong?
It allows her to be who she wants to be, and I think that has a little bit more weight than just winning a medal.
The rules vary from state to state. In 7 states, including Texas, students must play on the team that matches their birth certificate, or have undergone surgery, or have had extended hormone therapy, while the NCAA requires the completion of 1 year of testosterone suppression. Medical research cannot really identify the line where a competitive advantage might exist for trans athletes of either gender.
What do you want to say to other transgender
go, guys.
young people, teens who are out there
really
struggling through this process?
Just follow your heart. Don't let other people determine what you do in life.
Let's just play devil's advocate for a moment.
Yeah, let's.
Imagine that you were both born girls, and then all of a sudden you had 2 boys who identified as being girls, and they said, hey, we're going to be on your team, and maybe now you're not performing as well because they are better.
I'm not going to discourage you or try to say, oh, it's not fair. And it was just pushing me to run faster.
Oh, run faster.
Because they get to do what they want.
Be happy for them.
They're happy, so then that should in turn make me happy.
Oh, is that how the world of competition? Oh, God, Kingsley, I can't. Is that how competition works? You're happy when your opponent wins?
Says that she would like to see the girls sit out for a year.
Okay, guys, that's what we wanted to show right now. Okay, guys, this is the meat. This is the meat and potatoes here. Well, I'm pescatarian, so we'll call it the fish and potatoes. Just kidding. So, guys, this is what I think happened. These athletes coming in now, okay, I'm not going to use the term snowflake, but I'm going to bring it up. I'm not going to call anybody about that, but this sort of mentality is where the term snowflake was coined. And you have to understand this, there's a generation coming in, and I will say when I was wrong, and I'm going to tell you how I was wrong. I believed that the generation coming in was going to be one of the best generations because I thought they already will be done with all the history of having fought for LGBTQ rights, women's rights, et cetera, and they'll already like have it in them. And I've seen some very mature, my nephew and niece included, who have come in and just been so mature and didn't have to deal with the shit that the boomer generation and even the millennials did have to sift through about discrimination. Okay, and so I thought it's going to be great. They're not going to have any predisposition in their heart to hate any one group. But this minority blew that hope of mine out of just these individuals. Because what I think happened with these individuals is that they never fought for anything in their life. They've had a very sensitive upbringing, most likely. And now somehow we've done a disservice by going so far into the heart chakra that we actually got to a point where we forced people to believe and say that transgender women are the same as biological women. And I would have had no problem saying that a year ago because I didn't have anything to lose and it appeared they had everything to gain. But then when I saw that most transgender athletes or individuals, sorry, not athletes, most transgender individuals believe this is unfair. I've seen so many speak out about it. But there is obviously a minority, and that minority will single-handedly take women's records and not even feel bad about it. So what we did by heart chakra raising these individuals that we're seeing is that we actually taught them that it's okay to deny, repress reality. And so now is where I'm going to spin it home to how this even relates to awakening. In spiritual awakening, guys, we do not repress reality. That's why this, a lot of people came onto my Kundalini videos and said, this new age crap, this isn't new age, it's ancient. And I didn't do it, but I didn't have an awakening by denying reality and having all these affirmations, because if I have to sit there and say, I'm a strong, beautiful woman, I'm a strong, beautiful woman, I'm a strong, beautiful woman, I'm trying to hypnotize my brain. That's not me aligning with a truth that is actually right for me. I mean, that is, but in that time when I'm having to affirm something all the time, I'm trying to hypnotize my mind. Yep. And Kundalini awakening and spiritual awakening is about transcending the mind, but you have to walk through. Okay, so for me, guys, my first kind of initial Kundalini energy movement in my body was when I was about 27, right? Mm-hmm. And from my pretty much about 18 years of age to 27, I resided in my heart chakra. Okay. So I was very nurturing. I didn't want anybody to feel bad. I wanted people to feel good no matter what. And I raised myself the same way. A lot of times, whatever self voice we have is also what we inadvertently project onto other people. That's why we have to be careful about our thoughts and the voice that we give ourselves, because that's going to spin out. So what I realized that it made me feel good, of course. I didn't have to admit when I wasn't at my best. And then, of course, I didn't let other people. So I always give this example. If somebody had come up to me and said, I'm not happy with my weight, I would help them try to deny reality. I'd say, what are you talking about? You're gorgeous. So many people love you. You're perfect the way you are. Okay, that is the product of somebody who wants other people to feel good in an unbalanced way. What I should have asked if I was more in my heart chakra center is, are you, not what society has made you, are you uncomfortable with the physical home in which you've made for yourself? Do you feel like it's in an alignment with who you truly are? And if they told me no, what I look at in the physical body that I have is not in alignment with who I truly am, then I would be like, okay, you have the strength to say that. The world has the solution for you. Spirit will always have the solution for you once you put that energy about saying, you know, I want my physical embodiment to be in alignment with what I really feel inside. And if that's a strong, beautiful woman, then that's exactly what you can go in alignment with.
I have to interject.
Yes, please do.
I mean, she said something about if you feel happy with, I mean, like in alignment with who you are. But not to sound like
you can disagree with me, baby.
But
do it.
if you're overweight and seriously obese,
you're overweight
and
and
you're
obese,
unhealthy,
and
you feel happy with who you are and your alignment, I mean, there's some people.
I think there would have to be some denial to go.
Yeah, people who are so much.
I just don't see that obesity making you feel proud.
So much in denial that they say it is curves.
Curves.
So. Like,
I'm curvy.
I'm curvy.
Look, guys, I gained weight recently too, but I'm not just gonna say I'm curvy. I gained weight.
A curvy and unhealthy weight.
It's up to me to decide if I like it or not.
Some people who are so much in denial use the word "I'm curvy," and my point being,
and what they're doing is trying to brainwash society to look at something unhealthy as something attractive.
Something attractive.
And it maybe has worked.
It works.
So if you're gonna, if you want to stay in your dysfunction, whatever that be, you're going to go around people that enable you.
So,
and me, I enabled people.
Yeah, having said that, what I'm trying to say now is like these track runners who say, I'm a woman. And
who have convinced themselves they'd be happy for their competitor?
And they'll be happy for their competitor.
Come on.
Like,
stop that right now.
Like, I'm going to mention what I said earlier. I was terrible on track. Okay? But if you bring me in with one of the best trackers on the female world, I mean female sports, I'll probably do better than a lot of them. Okay, even with any training,
if you with no training,
okay. And
I'll probably do
better than most of them, if not, But with training, even a little bit of training, I'm probably gonna whoop ass all day.
That's right.
So if I decide tomorrow that I want to transition, and then trying to brainwash myself, not just myself also brainwash.
But a community,
society saying, oh.
To be on board with me.
I'm a female, this and that.
And to think of me as brave and special.
I'm brave and special. That ain't true.
No, guys, I'm not celebrating you.
I'm not going to celebrate you.
You're not only not celebrating you, I feel repulsed that you're taking away. And it's not, that man on there, the parent said that, I think it's more important than some medal. You think that's the only thing you're taking away from women is a medal? First of all, if it was, a medal means a hell shit of a lot. Who doesn't think so? Raise your hand. Oh, look it. All our hands are on the ground and so is Scrappy's paws. Like, guys, a medal is important. There's a reason for this. And if somebody wants to fight for that, whether it be their identity and the rules of this 3D realm, fight for it and be fair. Guys, every game has rules. I believe in reincarnation. When we came and incarnated in this body, we took on certain limitations that in all likelihood the spirit doesn't have. Why did we do that? For fun, to learn things. We came to learn under a certain precedent. Whenever we play a game, whether it be, am I just going?
No, I'm just saying. I'm not sure about reincarnation. We have two different beliefs, so that's great.
And we can get into that more later. But the point is, in my belief system, I believe that we all agreed to the terms of being a human being in a 3D realm. And any game you play, if me and Kingsley are going to play Phase 10 or Monopoly or any game, we are going to agree to the rules. Because out of that limitation and those rules that we all agreed to comes creation, and we push ourselves to new lengths. We cannot push ourselves to new lengths by denying reality ever. And we did a disservice. When I hear this young trans woman talk, I believe that we've done a disservice.
We've done a disservice.
By brainwashing community to say that there's no differentiation between a trans woman and a biological woman. Guys, if there wasn't, there'd be no two labels.
And people can't
even talk about it. There would be a trans woman label and a biological woman label.
Oh, the discrimination against women.
Apple-head chihuahua, long-haired chihuahua. You're such.
But anyways, we should.
If you hate what we're saying, then
we should
look at Scrappy. Okay, baby. Let me see if there's anything else. Okay, so guys, let's talk about solution. Yeah, let's talk about solution. Okay, guys, because I don't like. Sorry, baby. Mommy has to focus. We'll be done soon, baby boy. You guys, honestly, I think that a lot of these people, including this physicist, the medical physicist who's also trans, but never denied reality that biological men have advantage over biological women, is looking right now to try to find ways to make things fair. Currently, things are not fair, not even in the Olympics. It used to be that they had to, I think the videos describe it. It used to be that they had to have no prick, no problem.
Yeah, no, they had to go through surgery, not just saying I'm a woman and then have a 2 years hormone reduction for complete 2 years.
But now the cyclist came on and said, I don't think we should have to subject our bodies to that.
Exactly.
Like, really? What do you think that you have to do to play with the women?
You want to be a woman, but you don't want to experience all that is about being a woman. Right. You just want a good part of being a woman. That's what I don't understand. These people who are transgender, they just want the good about being a woman.
We have to be careful about divisive language, honey. These people.
Okay.
A small minority of the trans community that are taking advantage of this and asking the rest of the entire world
to accept it.
Walks on pins and needles and gets canceled for a simple statement of saying biological women are not the same as trans women.
They are not the same.
Really? Guys, if anybody ever asks you to ascribe to a belief system that asks you to deny reality or forego your common sense, you're in a cult.
Exactly.
That's what you're in.
We're turning into a cult.
I grew up in Jehovah's Witness religion, guys. I know what a cult is, and I know what cult mentality is. Okay, so now let me wind up the spiritual part, honey.
Yeah, eventually we're going to talk about Jessica, but another video.
Jessica Yaniv?
Yeah. Not today.
That's another woman.
We can make a part 2. And
we will. But let me just quickly say it. That's a woman who has absolutely single-handedly made the trans community look like crap. And I absolutely detest her embodiment.
Okay.
Her ego embodiment. So she's a total pervert. If you want to get up on the game, look up Jessica Yaniv and see what shit she's pulled. She's the trans community's worst nightmare. Everything that every actual bigoted person said, you got to be sorry, but you did it. Everything that any actual bigoted person believed about the trans community, this woman, this male to female, who they actually think she's just doing it to be in little girls' bathrooms. So let's not even go there. But let me wind this up, guys. One of my favorite quotes that I think is very spiritual and very honest of this 3D realm is from Tommy Lee Jones in Men in Black. He said, "A person is smart. People are dumb." If you look at each one of us individually, almost everybody can be brought to a reasonable place, and we can all find a common solution that is fair. However, once you get involved in a tribal pack mentality, you lose your damn mind. Especially, now this is where I'm going to bring in the spirituality. If you are in your lower chakras, okay, for Kundalini Awakening, this is not your gig, but you'll just have to let me spiel, hun. If you are in your lower chakra mentality, which is just power, sex, money, greed, and it's more reminiscent of survival centers and what pack mentality would be regarding animals. Who's the biggest, strongest, more powerful? Who is the king of the jungle? Okay, if you're in that lower chakra survival center, you will stomp on anyone and everyone to get what you want and be superior. You have no conscience, okay, because you haven't gone up through your heart chakra center. Now, the information that I'm giving y'all about heart chakra center, and Carolyn Myss wrote the book, Anatomy of the Spirit. And she said, where we are in our developing nations is we've gone into our heart chakra centers. This is very good. So if you're thinking of in terms of a Kundalini Awakening, and we're going up the chakra system, we have the sacral chakra, then we have the solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown, where we truly align with divinity. But as we work through those things, through our anatomical structure, our ego structure, and in our lives, we come to like a higher, more transcendent place in our spiritual capacity, okay? So like I said, I remained in my heart chakra mostly from about 18 to 27. And I just wanted to feel good, and I want other people to feel good. And I wasn't realizing that along with that came enabling. And so I had to learn through my life experience that I wasn't being productive for me or anybody else by being over nurturing and denying reality. We will come through each structure that you go through. What happens, sweetie? Through each structure that you go through, each what's the word I'm looking for, guys? Oh God, my brain is just like shutting up. Okay, so through each thing that you go through, you're going to realize its pluses and its minuses, its advantages and its disadvantages. So heart chakra center, obviously that sounds amazing, right? Like we're connecting to other beings. We feel supremely connected. We're cheering on our fellow man. We're most likely out of our raw competitive centers. We're not trying to be better than anybody else. We're trying to be inclusive. And so the fact that developed nations are going through that is a really good sign, because we've moved out of our survival centers. At survival centers, we're saying one of us has to be superior and the other has to be inferior. One is getting fed, the other has to die. You're not fit to survive in the jungle. Humans, we're way more complex than that. And we have way more to give than just who's better than who and who can survive in the jungle. We don't want to just dominate. We realize in the heart chakra center that inclusiveness is better for everybody. And so it's a beautiful thing to go from your lower chakra centers and your survival centers and into your heart. That's a beautiful place for a human to reside. But it will, anytime we remain in one thing, when it's not useful, when it's not balanced, we are going to suffer for it. And we're going to see the suffering within, internally, and then we're going to see the suffering as a society. We're going to see it as the microcosm and the macrocosm, the entire organism that is society. And what I'm seeing here is that by being so nurturing and inclusive, we only overstep the line, in my opinion. And I'm sure there's plenty of other examples, but I'm saying as a society and a community, this is a clear example, in my opinion, of us overstepping the line between heart chakra center and actually repressing throat chakra center. So throat chakra is our center of truth. We speak the truth, and it may be harder than we want, and it may be harsh and painful, but the only time that it's going to be productive to speak the truth is if we're strong enough and developed enough, because we've already moved through heart chakra and our lower chakras. There's a reason that the chakra system was made the way that it was, so that we get through those survival centers and we know that we're fit for 3D life in this realm. If I'm boring you, if I'm making you don't have to stay for the last part, honey.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So anyways, there's a reason that the intelligence of the universe made this in humanity the way it did, and that's for our growth. So once we've got out of the survival centers and we said, okay, we don't need to survive by someone else dying. I don't need to thrive by somebody else not thriving. Hi, teddy bear. That's not the case. It doesn't need to be that way. And then we're saying, let's all bring our individual gifts. That's a beautiful thing. So we don't go into throat chakra center until we've already been through heart chakra, because we've already gone through. Once you get there, you start asking, is this productive? Is this good? Is this mature? Is this person strong enough to handle the truth and become better for it? Now, if you come to somebody who it's not time to speak the truth and you're only being rough and it's not going to be productive, you're just telling them something horrible, you're an addict, that's not a healthy throat chakra center. That is you having not been matured enough to find a productive way of telling somebody you can be better than you are, or telling yourself you can be better than you are. So now I think what we're seeing in society is that pendulum swung and we've lost our balance. And in doing that, we legitimately convinced maybe some of the newer generation coming in that hasn't had to fight as hard for rights and wasn't as grounded in reality. We've convinced them that it's okay to actually deny reality and to celebrate cheating, and that the whole rest of society is just going to be brainwashed with you and celebrate you and call you brave. If you watch the video after of the girl who got her scholarships and medals taken away, you will see true bravery. She spoke out and said, this is unfair, despite all this other crap, death threats and everything else. Okay. So guys, I think that's it, honey. I think I kind of brought it full circle, and actually I'm really shocked that I did that in an hour and 10 minutes, brought it full circle with the thing. So let me just, the solution we never said. Guys, right now, until the medical physicist and other people are able to find a fair way for transgender to be included, I think what will suffice for now is having XX chromosome sports and XY chromosome sports. Okay? And that will only be a temporary fix, but it is better than having women's records and rights taken away. Okay? Because it is true, trans are in the minority compared to 50% of the world, females. And we are working towards finding a way for everybody to be inclusive, but we don't need to rush it and actually take away a whole group, females, abilities to have fair rights. That's just not fair, and it's not reasonable. So as these physicists and other people in the Olympic board go further and find where is it fair, how much testosterone, how if a person hasn't
the keyword is rush it.
Yeah, no point in rushing it. And find out where the level is fair. Truthfully, as Kingsley has said, and what I said on here, is if a male has gone through male puberty, they are hands down, they are dick down, going to have the advantages over a female, no matter what. It's not just testosterone versus estrogen, guys. It's way more than that. But we can give it time and have these people who specialize in it find a fair advantage. But finding a fair playing field is not taking away women's rights. We chose the worst possible thing that we could do and chose it. And then I've heard other people, like the more Republican side, being like, how are feminists putting up with this? How are they going for this? Guess what? We're not. No true feminists that fought for women's equalities on that which we can perform equal to men will ever go for this. This was unfair. You know why? Because we can never perform equal to biological males. Okay, sweetie, do you want to say bye?
Yes, I'm back again. This is
okay, guys, let me see Scrappy.
And where is Scrappy?
He's so cute. We love you. Can you say bye?
Time to say goodnight.
I love you. I love you.
Thank you guys for watching and tuning into this lovely channel of Angelina
Kundalina,
and Kingsley on Kundalina.
And we'll be doing a Hump Day Harmonious Happy Hour every Wednesday, either myself and Kingsley or both of us included. And we look forward to talking more topics with you guys.
There's a lot of topics that we're going to be talking about. Sometimes it's going to be more spiritual. Sometimes we're going to be talking about.
It's going to be mostly about Kundalini.
We're going to be talking about fitness. Like for some of us that have questions about fitness, considering her background, she used to be, be a personal trainer and fitness and all that stuff. I used to be a personal trainer for a decade. We can talk. We can give you guys tips on how to lose weight, look good, and all that good stuff. It's going to be coming up soon, and it's going to be a wide topic.
Yeah, it's going to be mostly Kundalini related and fitness related. How to get your physical, and what you're talking about is how to get your physical self in alignment with who you truly feel. So creating that 3D realm body that fits who you truly feel yourself to be on the inside.
Angelina is all about Kundalini. I was born a Christian, so I have a different point of view. But at the end of the day, we're going to meet somewhere.
Yeah. And so guys, I know that a lot of the people from Vigilante Christian came after me regarding like please seek Christ and stuff like this. And guys, I'm sorry, you just sound ignorant because you don't know my story. I know a lot about Christianity. My partner identifies as Christian. Clearly, he's really open-minded, and that's why we're able to carry on a relationship in which we don't necessarily we both admit that we don't actually have any way of knowing the afterlife. And so we can figure out what works for us and what we think is created, but we don't push anybody to our belief system. You'll never see me as a Kundalini awakening individual go on a Christian person's platform and tell them, give Kundalini a try. I'm not indoctrinating anybody. That's not my thing. All I'm doing is sharing my path. Guys, I grew up in a Christian Jehovah's Witness cult. When at 14, I was able to kind of, lower chakra myself out of that. The next level of Christianity was there to tell me that they were the one and only true. I did pray because I lost 2 of my brothers to muscular dystrophy between Stop, honey.
That was saying bye.
I know. But honey, I'm saying things that need to be
talk.
He wants me to shut up so we can wind up for bed.
Yeah.
Anyways, because you got to get to work in the morning. So, guys, when I lost my first brother, Eric, when I was 17, I prayed to God even harder. Please reveal yourself. Please show me for who you are. And I thought it was going to be Christian because everybody told me my whole life that was the answer. That was one of them. And no matter how hard I prayed or how desperate I was to have that be in alignment and for a Christian God to reveal itself, guys, it just never happened. And I'm very knowledgeable about the Bible. So there's no point in you guys trying to evangelize to me or indoctrinate me and say, please give Jesus a Christ. And if it didn't speak to you, it's because you didn't do something right. It's just, guys, it's one of the reasons that select group of people trying to evangelize and indoctrinate in such a pushy way is actually what made a lot of people have a real bad taste in their mouth for Christianity. So my reasons for not being Christian are twofold. One, the main fold is that it does not speak to me. I didn't find it to reach my heart. I didn't see any evidence of a deity named Jesus or any other sort working through my life. None of it seems logical. I just can't make it feel correct for me, okay? And when it comes to what you select for your spiritual beliefs, I think humility is the most important part, that we all comprehend that we may be born onto this planet and die to this planet without ever actually knowing the real truth about what's going on this paradigm. And Christians, part of their belief system is that they avidly believe they have to believe that they know what's going on in the afterlife. And I make no such claims. And I'm just really, I had the Kundalini awakening a few years after I truly said, God, if I'm meant to never know what's going on and that's how you want me to live this life creation, I'm willing to do that. And then a few years after that is when the energy started preparing to move up and when it did. And so I have what I call is experiential knowledge, where I didn't take somebody else's testimony. I didn't take another person's text. I had an experience and then I looked up all that phenomena. And it's like, if you go into a doctor and they say, you have 8 out of these 10 symptoms, I think you have Meniere's disease. Okay, guys, imagine going in and trying to get your diagnosis, and there's 30 different phenomena that you can have, and you've had every single one of them. That's exactly what happened with Kundalini Awakening. I'm like, holy crap, all these things that seem so bizarre and unconnected, I go and read it, and through text, ancient text and newer text, and I go, holy crap, I'm having a Kundalini Awakening. Like, there's actually a name for this psychotic thing happening within me, all this phenomena, this energy stirring and moving and clearing out so many things, making us both more humble and vulnerable and more strong and able to speak from throat chakra at the same time. Like, all it does is just expand your life view instead of contract. And I believe that has to begin with humility, guys. I haven't addressed this with a lot of the Christian crew coming after me because from the vigilante Christian group, but it was just like so overpowering. It was so overwhelming. I just didn't even know where to begin. But guys, I don't think it's your heart that's telling you, like, I must witness to this girl. She's so lost. I'm doing very well. It's sad that I should have to defend myself. People even came on and said, if you keep up like this, to my videos maybe 2 years ago, if you came up like this, you're going to be dead. And I came on and said, do you have any intention to actually honor your word? Does it matter to you that you said something? And I was like, I expect you to come back in 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or whatever you said. I think she said maybe it was going to be a year or two, and apologize to me. And I would never go onto a Christian person's platform and say, if you keep up like this, you're going to die. Like, come on, guys. That's not your heart telling you to evangelize to me. That's your indoctrination. And I'm very experienced with recognizing that. So the point of me saying all this, guys, is that I will pretty much read anything in my comment section. But if I don't respond to you, it's either A, maybe I totally agree with you. But usually when I appreciate what people say, I will, acknowledge them and say something back. But if it's a please seek Jesus and you're under the spell of demons and guys, please go your way. It's not worth it. And it's not coming from your heart. It's coming from your indoctrination. And in that sense, I'm going to urge you to seek for yourself. Okay. So anyways, guys, I will be sharing about my Kundalini experience on this. If you think you can stop that with shitty comments and telling me I'm wrong, go ahead and try if it's what makes you feel good. But it's just a mess that I really don't need. Okay, guys, you gonna say goodbye, hon? He's like, I already said goodbye. Okay, love you guys all. We look forward to next week. Scrappy, want to say bye? Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Okay, guys, love you so much. Thanks for listening. Please leave any commentary you want. You won't be attacked unless it's just totally ignorant and you're trying to indoctrinate me. I still won't attack you, but maybe if I'm up to it, I will. Who knows? But okay, bye, guys. End stream, huh? Think. Are you sure you want to end your stream? And I see you know, Analiana.